conditions that were made available for inspection before the start of today's auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for the property after the property has been knocked down to the successful bidder. So vendors have a reserve price, and as the auctioneer I can indicate bidders on request. The law prohibits false bids, prohibits any major disruptions by bidders, and prohibits bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding, and it does provide fines for this conduct. The rules do permit vendor bids, and the words we'll use during the auction to indicate we're making a bid on behalf of the vendor will very simply be vendor bid. And of course, by law, only I as the auctioneer today have the right to place that bid on behalf of the vendor. Attached to the contract of sale is the section 32. We have had this on display for the last half an hour or so. There's just another car coming there, just mind yourself, ladies and gentlemen. And if you did take the time to read through it, you'll see it does confirm that Ray White, as the vendor's estate agent here today, is selling what is formally described as Lot 1 on Plaintiff 00D. Of course, more commonly known to yourself and I as 14B Robinson Street here in Brighton East. Now, in a moment's time, when we do call for your bidding, we'll be asking for a deposit equal to 10% of the purchase price, of which we might get a $5,000 down payment paid today and the balance of that 10% paid on Monday. The balance of the sale proceeds being the preferential settlement terms by the vendor. 30-60 days time would be ideal. Josh tells me there has been 1 or 2 variations on those terms here today, and if that's you, well, of course, you've got our permission to bid to your heart's content, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you are a first-time auction attendee, to place a bid, it's very, very simple. Shout out your bid in a nice, clear voice. Alternatively, Johnny and Josh will be floating around the crowd, and Matt to help out with any questions or bidding you might have here today. The way that we'll be selling the property is by calling it down 3 times. On the first, second, third, and final call, when the contract hits my hand, like so, the property will be sold. And at that point, ladies and gentlemen, no late bids can or will be accepted. So it's absolutely essential that if you have come here with the intention of trying to buy this extraordinary property, that you do hold the highest bid at the end of the auction. Now, let me just remind you that if we do happen to fall short of the vendor's reserve price, it's the highest bidder and the highest bidder only that gets invited inside to exclusively negotiate and almost certainly buy this property in just a few moments' time. In fact, throughout 2021 and all of 2020, in the instance we did pass in a property on a live bid below the vendor's reserve price, that bidder went on to go and buy the property in 80% of the instances. So very strong fighting odds. If you have come here with the intention of buying, irrelevant or regardless of if we're on the market or not, you must hold the highest bid at the end of the auction. Otherwise, there's a very strong chance that you're going to miss out here today, ladies and gentlemen. And why wouldn't you be bidding for something such as 14B Robinson Street here in Brighton East? I know as you walk through, the moment you come in, the luxury just smacks you in the face with the nice high ceilings, the bluestone floors, the porcelain bench tops, the Smeg appliances, all the things you'd expect in a beautifully finished townhouse you've got at 14B Robinson Street. But one of the things that surprised me the most was just how quiet it was inside. You know, to talk about the elephant in the room, I think maybe some people might have been a little bit concerned that road noise could have been an issue. But as you walk in there, I actually had to look out the window to see if there were any cars coming past. And much to my surprise, there was, quite a lot in fact. Yet inside it was whisk. Noticed on the energy report, there looked as though there was additional insulation on certain walls, which I imagine has been factored into the design to help keep that noise level down. It really is a remarkably quiet property inside. The oversized double garage, the exposed aggregate driveways, everything you would expect in a Brighton East townhouse is available here today, ladies and gentlemen. Location-wise, just moments away from the heart of it all, the beach just down the road, Brighton Secondary at the other end, cafes, shops, schools, parkland, Southland. Everything you could want and more, ladies and gentlemen, is available when you're buying here in Robinson Street in Brighton East. There's a reason, in fact, why the median house price in area is 17% in the last 6 months. Let that sink in for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. 17%. If you're talking 200 or 300 grand per annum in the median house price, you're talking about $1,500 per week. Is that right? It's more than that. $3,000 a week. $3,000 a week, ladies and gentlemen, is what it's going by. $500-600 a day. So every day that you don't buy at auction, every time you wait, every time it goes beyond your preconceived limit and you say, no, I've got a limit, I'm going to stick to it, what you're actually doing is costing yourself money. It's important. Bid hard, bid fast, ladies and gentlemen. Best of luck to you all. 14B Robinson Street, Brighton East. In your hands, ladies and gentlemen, for a fair, reasonable start. Who'd like to bid us away here? Don't mind the start. In your hands, folks. Range of 167 to 177 throughout the campaign. I can suggest a start, perhaps something around the 1.7 mark. If I'm placing a vendor bid, you'll be bidding on top of me here today. 1.7, can we say buyers in your hands? Don't mind the start, folks. 1.7, can we say? If we're being too ambitious, shout it. Ladies and gentlemen, vendor bid with me now. $1.7 million a bid. We'll call for a 20 from there if we could. At 1.7 the bid now, looking for a rise to 172. At $1.7 million bid with me now. Rise at 20 if you'd like to join in, ladies and gentlemen. At 1.7 the bid now. Call it down 3 times for you. At $1.7 million, we're bid with me now. 172, can we say buyers? In your hands, take us there for a rise at 20. First call now at 1.7 the bid. 1.7 the bid. Third and final call at $1.7 million a bid. 7.2, can we say buyers? Surely you can't make it that easy. 1.7, the bid remains with me. You're hearing all the hype in the market at the moment about how hard it is to buy. Potentially gifted an opportunity here. Don't let it slip you by. At 1.7 million, the bid remains with me. Rise at 20 if you want to join in today. Buyers at 1.7 the bid. Call it down 3 more times. At 1.7 million now the bid, looking for a rise at 20. Take it to 172 buyers. Get yourself in front. If we're being too ambitious, match the vendor bid if it helps. 1.7, can we say? In your hands, buyers. At 1.7 the bid still with me. All done. All silent. All finished. Surely not, folks. 1.7, the bid remains with me. Again, if I'm being too ambitious, shout out the number now. $1.7 million a bid. Last opportunity for you all. At 1.7 even the bid now. First, second, third. All done. All silent. At 1.7 million the bid. Well, folks, just give me one quick moment of your time. We'll quickly have a chat with our vendor and be right back. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. Regrettably, at this stage, the vendor bid remains with me at 1.7 million. I have made one thing very clear. If there's any genuine bidding in excess of that price point here today, we don't intend on using any more vendor bids. So let me make that clear. If anybody comes in on top of 1.7 today and the property does end up passing into them, we will be dealing exclusively with them. You won't be competing against me. I won't place another vendor bid on top of you if we get a live bid from the crowd right now. At $1.7 million, the bid remains with me. We'll call it down 3 more times, buyers. We're in your hands, looking for a rise of 20 from here. At $1.7 million, a bid with me. Rise at 20 if you'd like to join in. Buyers at 1.7 now. Can we say 7.2 the bid? At $1.7 million a bid. First call now at 1.7 even. Second call, 1.7. Third and final call at $1.7 million a bid. 1.7. I'll take the bid there at 1.7 million at 1.7 even. At 1.7 million dollars, fairly bid and offered now. Rise at 20 if you want to come in on top. At 1.7 the bid now, ladies and gentlemen. There's your competition. Rise at 20. Can we say from here to take it to 7.2? At 1.7 million dollars a bid, dealing exclusively with the highest bidder at this stage. As I mentioned, I won't place a vendor bid on top of them at 1.7 million dollars a bid. At 1.7 even now. First call now at 1.7 the bid. 7.2 if you'd like to join in, buyers. Second call now, 1.7. Third and final call at $1.7 million a bid. So let me remind you once more what happens from here, ladies and gentlemen. If there's no further bid or advance, the property passes into the highest bidder, and they're the ones who get exclusive right of refusal to negotiate, and statistically they've already given themselves an 80% chance of buying this property in a few moments' time. Very strong position to put themselves in. 1.7 million even the bid now. Last opportunity to come in for a rise of 20 on top. At $1.7 million the bid. First call now at 1.7 even. Second call now, 1.7. We're just working the dog up. Third and final call at $1.7 million a bid. All done, all silent, all finished at 1.7 million even. Well, guys, with that, please join me in congratulating the highest bidder. Will formally pass the property in, $1.7 million a bid. We'll look forward to negotiating a sale in a few moments' time.